There are many fates worse than death. What you expect from the universe will deliver to you in abundance. The universe wants to give you a lot of what you expect, even if it's scarcity. It is Friday. It is Friday. Barely, but it is. Clutch said he would use the song I recorded yesterday on his show, and that's exciting. And I will, if he wants to, I'll write another couple of verses. And if anybody has some ideas for the lyrics, especially if you watch his channel, let me know. I forgot to say happy birthday to Ethan, who's 22 today. By the time you see this, he'll be 22 plus a few days probably. I mentioned his 21st birthday a couple of shows ago, and I can't believe it's already a year since then. I'm in such a better place a year after that, I can't even compare. To celebrate, he came over a day early and we had a piece of strawberry rhubarb pie and some black cherry and some black raspberry ice cream. It was Turkey Hill ice cream, in case you wonder if I like the product I delivered. It was pretty amazing. By the time I was 22, I was already married, already had a child, and was trying to make ends meet in a Swedish church, Swedish Covenant Church. I was the music director. I was going to school full-time for a master's degree and making ends meet with that church job. Portland State University in Portland, Oregon. I remember that the economic situation when I was 22 is much, much better than it is for people who are currently 22. Thanks, boomers. And as I said on last Friday's show that I'm just editing now, if we can't solve our economic problems of exploitation, then everybody who's currently getting exploited will continue to get exploited, no matter what. Whatever our collective attitudes are. It's a little after 6 a.m. and I already have half my day done. 2 trips to Robisonia, PA. So I'm almost back from my first trip. I guess they need the power today. All systems go by every spindication. John Lefevre is the name of the guy, the mechanic, who just put a new headlamp in for me. One of my fellow drivers told me that my headlamp was out. He noticed it when we were at the first stop, and he told me when we got back. So shout out to Rick for his sharp eyes. After John put my headlamp back in, he showed me pictures of the 71 Chevy he was working on. It was his car that he bought for $200 when he was 15 years old. And the girl he took to the prom in that car in high school, he's still married to. So that was a nice story. And I looked at lots of pictures on his phone. Beautiful car. And it occurred to me as I was looking at the pictures that that was an enjoyable way to spend time. Being aware of how he spends time and what matters to him in his life besides fixing the trucks on Turkey Hill. And besides driving the trailers all around wherever they need to go with all of their ice cream and iced tea and lemonade and soft serve and milk, chocolate milk, and all that stuff. And that is what we need to do. If we want the universe to abundantly bless us, we need to know what life means, and we need to know what to expect. And if we expect to spend our time being more than just cogs in the machinery, we need to remember. We need to remember what life means. Every day, every minute. We are certainly more than our jobs. And we're even more than our relationships. So what are the fates worse than death? In an abundant universe, if that's your belief and your expectation, and if it is, then for you it is an abundant universe, it is worse than dying by far to live smaller than you really are. So if, say, any of my fellow truck drivers are in misery because they have to accept much less than they believe they would like, much less of whatever it is that they feel the universe has not provided thus far, if they feel as though they have to live smaller than they want to, until they die in pain and misery, why not just get it over with? And living a short, glorious life and dying with style, that's as good as it gets, because we all have to die anyway. That's why it's so important to understand how to combat the gaslighters, how to counteract their efforts to make us smaller than we are and to make us live within their parameters. To me, that's much worse than death, because we live in an abundant universe that wants us to live as big as we want to live. So missing that boat, missing all the opportunities provided, missing out on the gratitude that you feel when you get to those beautiful shores and you see you don't have to wait until you're dead to enjoy them. That's a fate worse than death. A few miles back, I passed a sign, one of the many Amish Mennonite type signs by the side of the road that are illuminated at night, or at least reflectorized, and it said, "Blessed are those whose sins are forgiven." And I thought to myself, how loaded that is. You're talking about propaganda and indoctrination. That's as good as it gets there. The word sins is a loaded word. To me, living with that whole mindset is a fate worse than death. All of this idea that you're a shitty, not marvelous, not spectacular human being from birth, and that you need some codependent solution, that's just bullshit. It's just patently obvious that the universe will spew that out of its mouth. That isn't how the universe works. The universe, as I've said before quite often, is not codependent. It doesn't tolerate codependence without fighting back. And so a fate worse than death is to go along believing you're a miserable wretch in need of salvation, in need of atoning blood, in need of someone looking the other way and absolving you. Why not just figure it out? Why not stop being such a shitty person? Whatever the outcome after we die, why not right now just stop being such a shitty person? Stop being so toxic. Figure out how to be strong and live up to your potential. I'm talking to the guy that put the sign by the road, not to you. If I sound a little strident and zealous, that's not how I want to come across. But I want to tell people who have been stuck in that mindset, steeped in that way of thinking, that there are far less toxic ways to go through life than that. And we were talking about Roe v. Wade recently, about a week ago, and I just see that kind of thinking pervading all the misogyny that we're dealing with now. Inflicting our patriarchal bullshit on a new generation of women, to me, it's the karma makes it a fate worse than death. You'd be so much better off, and the world would be, the universe would be, if you just offed yourself before you inflicted any more harm on women. That's like that quote from Jesus who says, "Better were it for you that a millstone were placed around your neck and you were drowned in the depths of the sea." I think that applies well to patriarchal bullshit. The context is Jesus was talking about little ones. Better for you not to cause one of these little ones to stumble who believe in me. And I'd say that applies to minorities. That applies to women and people of color and indigenous people and trans people and gay people and all vulnerable people who, like children, can easily be oppressed. So don't think I'm taking that quote out of context. I do believe that when we exploit the vulnerable, it is better for us that a millstone were put around our necks and that we were drowned in the depths of the sea. Then mere death seems way too good for you.